Good morning, all. Let's get started. And today we are going to work on part 06. If I'm not, yeah, part 06. It's the continuation of OpenCV. So we only have two classes of OpenCV, the last one and this one. And next class, next week, we will have the evaluation, okay? So the second practical assignment is to be delivered next week. I'm going to show it to you in a moment. And well, I can start showing it already. So, well, not here, I will show it here. So part 7 and here. So what we want for next week is to do what I call augmented reality paint, PSR augmented reality paint, which is a program that is meant to allow the user to paint on the screen. It's like a paint, but in a paint you use the mouse to draw. In this case, you are not going to draw with the mouse, you are going to draw by moving some object in front of the camera. That's where the image processing comes from. While I'm speaking, I will show you this video. I think it's better. This one. Okay. So you have to do two different scripts. One is just the color segmenter, which is a script where you will configure the color detection. So the parameters, as we did last week, the parameters for the maximum and minimum are G and B values. And then this script will allow you to tune by moving some slide bars. And in the end, you store them in a JSON file. So that's the first script I'm showing. Okay, so here I am trying to configure the color detection by moving the minimum and the maximum sliders for the 3 color channels and trying to isolate a particular color. So in your phone, for example, you can install something like Screen Light. I think that's the name that I have. It's just like a lantern. Yeah, Screen Light, it's the name. It's like a lantern, but I can choose the color. For example, I can put very bright red or something like this. So if you show this to the camera and you configure the detection of color to red, then it should be able to pick up the red. That's what I'm doing there in the video. That's the first script that you should do. And then after you have the color detection configured, you go into the bigger script, the real juice of the next practical assignment, which is, so here I'm still configuring the color. You can see the video, which is this. Where is it? Okay, so now this is a good color detection and I save it. And okay, now for the real program, the AR paint, augmented reality paint, what we do is we show the telephone with the color that we have configured to the screen, to the camera, and we will see one blob, not one, several masks. So the mask of detections, that's what I mean, will contain several regions. you can see here a bigger one, but there are some portions of white on the left-hand side, for example. So you have to somehow pick up the largest area, blob. These regions are called blobs. You have to pick up the largest blob, and from that blob, compute the center of mass. So on the bottom, where my mouse is right now, you are seeing only the largest blob. So you can see that you don't see the small white islands on the bottom image, because it's only the largest one there. And then from this one in the bottom, I compute the center of mass, which is presented there as a red cross, you see? And that's where the pencil is. So that's where the coordinate that you use in order to draw the canvas. So that's the basic idea. Then it has a lot of functionalities that you can use to improve the program, such as, for example, to change the color. So now I'm drawing with red color. To change the width of the traço, of the line with which you draw, to clear the screen, and many others which are reported in the PDF for part 07. So here, for example, I'm changing the line color, and so on and so forth. So the first assignment was very easy, and this one is already a bit more difficult. It's not so difficult, I think, but you are going to be doing groups of 3 or 4, so it's a lot of people. And my suggestion is that you try to split it up into several parts, and people address different problems. If you want to get a higher score in this assignment, you can try to do the advanced functionalities. Which are those? So parts, not here, sorry, here. So I created 5 advanced functionalities. The first is the shake detection. So what happens when you are drawing is that if for some reason your mask of color detection stops seeing a color, so you are drawing a line. That means you are drawing a line between this detection now, this center of mass, and the previous center of mass. So what happens if I show you the cell phone with red, and you see red, so you know this is the center of mass. Then I hide it, and I put it like this, and I show it again here. So your previous center of mass was here, and your new one was there. So you will do a very big line. This is what I call shake detection, like a very gigantic line. So the first advanced functionality is to try to prevent this from happening. So you detect the shake, and you don't draw these very large lines, okay? The second one is to use the video stream as a background. So instead of having white background, you use the video as a background. Then you want to try to draw shapes like rectangles or circles, okay? So you just put some key, in this case O or something, and the user can draw some circle or some rectangle. Oh, there is a video explanation here, so I can try to put it here. Let's see. So one example, okay, so I'm drawing, and now, no, this is not the program. This is just to show how Zoom works to draw. So in Zoom, you can draw rectangles and so on and so forth. So we are trying to emulate this, okay? So that you understand that you have to understand that the program has to get the click event and then the drag event and the drop of the button. You will see, we will do an exercise with this. So that's the advanced functionality. That's the advanced, oops. Advanced functionality number 3. Number 4 is to do, to show an image with several numbers, and you want, each number has a color associated with it. So you want the user to paint, this is what my daughter does, I give this to her, and I tell her, oh, 1 is blue, 2 is red, and then the user will be entertained painting, okay? And the interesting thing in the end is that your program, that's number 5, should be able to evaluate this. So I want the program to be able to say, oh, you are painting well. No, this is not correct. How can you do this? For example, if you know that 1 is red, you can have an image, let's say the target image, where everywhere where you have 1 is red, everywhere where you have 2 is blue, something like this. Those are the colors that the person is supposed to paint. So if you have the image that is supposed to be obtained after painting. This image is synthesized or painted by you if you want, but you have a target one and you have the current painted image by the user. You just have to compare them. This will give a score, and what will happen is that I'm painting and I start painting, for example, perhaps here. For example, let's say one is red, as I said. So if one is red, I'm going to start and I'm going to start doing this. So it should say here, oh, okay, so 2%, you are 2% well. And then I do, one is red, okay, so I'm going to put green here. And it says, oh, wait, minus 1% or something. There is something wrong in your painting. In the end, if I paint everything correctly, it should give a score close to 100, okay? So that's the evaluation of the painting. Advanced functionality number 5. And that's it. In terms of the practical assignment, that's it. So these advanced, I know it sounds a lot, but that's with the advanced functionalities. That's if you want to have a very good mark. If you want, you don't have to do them. You just do the basic, which is everything else, okay? Any questions about the assignment? So by this afternoon, the latest tonight, I will give the groups, which are again randomized, and I will send them to you so you can start working on it. Okay, great. No questions. That's good. Next, we are going to work on part 06. So we are going to continue with OpenCV. By the way, I still didn't launch the scores of the previous practical assignment because there were some people who were supposed to tell me, where is she? I don't think she's here. No, she's not here. I will speak to her. There was a student who was supposed to tell me something about the score with her in her group, and she didn't, so I'm waiting a little bit, but by this weekend I should launch the scores. So image annotations. So I think I will try to do exercise 1 here in the class, and then in the practical assignment we can try to do this big challenge, okay? So I hope you tried it at home. Try to do a script where you understand if the person is speaking or not, okay, from the video frame. I hope you didn't sleep trying to do it. So, but here I don't have enough time, so I will just work on exercise number 1, okay? So to start, we want to load an image Atlas Card PNG. So I'm just going to load an image Atlas Card PNG. So this is part 06. Where is the Atlas Card PNG? Not here. Okay. Okay. So I'm just setting up my main.py to do this exercise, which is number 1. So I'm going to do here exercise 1. Okay. Is it for part 6 or part 6? Yeah, part 6. Okay. So it says load an image atlascar.png, which I don't know where it should be, perhaps here. Atlascar images, Atlascar PNG, here it is. So I'm going to put it here. Then I'm going to create a docs, new folder docs, and then I put my Atlascar PNG there. Should be images, not docs. Images. Okay, so now yes, I can try to load this image. So you know how to load an image. That's with so my image equals cv2.imread, and here you are going to put the name of the file that you want to load. So that's going to be going backwards, then into the images folder, and then atlascar.png. I think that's it. Let's try. Okay, so I can do it like this, and this one goes here. Okay, setup. Okay, so now I have to go to the folder. So copy path, CD. Okay, so main here. Let's see if we can load this image. Oh, okay, so we loaded the image, no problem. I think now we can do a cv2.imshow. of the window name and the image. Let's call this the window. What? Okay, so after showing the image, we have to wait a bit, of course, otherwise the program will terminate. 0, we wait forever. Okay, so here is the image that we want to work on. And now exercise 1A is to draw a circle on the image. So that's just seeing how the function CV circle works. So we can just go online, open CV, CV circle, and see how this works. Circle, it's a line. Okay, circle is here, right? So it is going to be first argument the image, then the center, that's the 2 points there, X and Y, then the radius or diameter, radius, and then the color, okay, then the thickness of the line. So if we do it like this, so before showing the image, we are going to draw on the image a circle, and then we show it with the circle. So CV circle, my first argument is my image. Let's put this on 300, 100, that's the center. My radius is going to be 50, and the color is going to be this. -1 means that it should not be a circumference, it should be a circle, so it should be filled. So here's the circle, okay? This circle is filled in red. If I change the color, of course, and change the thickness of the line, now we have this, okay? So very easy to use OpenCV drawing functionalities and image displaying functionalities. Exercise 1B is to write some text. That's also very easy, so you just have to search online. There's no big deal in doing this, so I will skip this one, 1B. Let's try to do 1C, okay? So the idea of 1C is a bit more complicated. It's to do something close to paint, okay? In this case, really paint, so there is not, we don't have the image processing component in terms of, let's try to figure out where the pencil is based on the image that we are capturing. No, in this case, we are going to know where the pencil is based on the position of the mouse. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is to take a look at how in OpenCV we can detect the position of the mouse and other events such as clicking and some other stuff. So OpenCV mouse callback. There is even an example there, but let's use this. So there is here this set mouse callback. I'll read more. And if you take a look at this, so what do we have to do? We have to call this function cv2.setMouseCallback, okay? And this is a function from OpenCV. It starts with cv2, of course. And this is what is called a callback register. So when I do this, after creating my window, I'm saying, look, my window, which window? The window with the name, window name. So the only window that I have here is going to have events that are called. So something is going to happen whenever the mouse interacts with this window. It can interact by hovering and moving the mouse on top of it, by clicking or by dragging, anything like this. But what happens is that I'm registering a callback. What is a callback? A callback is a special function that is called only when such an event occurs. In this case, the function that I'm going to call mouse callback is going to be called when there is a mouse event. So let's write the function. Because this is a function that is called not by the script directly, but by something else that is monitoring the events of the mouse and calls a function, that means that something else must know the function in terms of which arguments the function has. So that means that these special functions for events, these callbacks, are already prototyped. So you cannot say, I want all these arguments or some other arguments. No, these arguments are predefined because these functions are meant to be called by someone who wrote the code before us. Okay, so we have to check how this mouse callback, the structure of the mouse callback. So in this case, the mouse callback was called draw rectangle, and you can see here the events. Oops, sorry. Now, I'm going to call this mouse callback again. And you can see here that typically I call this the event. Then you have an X and the Y and the flags. Forget about the user data for now. So it means that the function is specified to receive 4 arguments. So we can just say print mouse event at X equals plus str of X plus Y equals plus str of Y. Okay, so I'm just printing, there is an event, something happened with the mouse, and I'm just printing its coordinates when the event occurred. Okay, so now nothing happens, you see no prints, but if I hover with my mouse on top, you can see type error, mouse callbacks takes 4 positional arguments, but 5 were given. Takes 4 positional, 5. With all user data? Okay, perhaps. Okay, so here it is. So I don't care about user data, but we have to put it there because it requires 5 parameters. So now it's happening. So you can see that whenever I hover my mouse on top, there is an event which is moving the mouse, and you can see the X and Y. There are other events such as pressing the mouse. So now I'm not going to move it, but I'm going to press it. So now I'm pressing, and you can also see events in the same coordinate, of course. So now what we have to do is to use this information to draw. Well, before, let's try to figure out if the event is moving or pressing the keyboard, the button. Okay, so this is what is done here in this set of ifs. Copy. So I'm just going to say if event equals cv2 dot, was it mouse event? Event mouse button down. Okay, so if the event is the mouse button is down, what does it mean? It means, for example, that we should start drawing, or that we should draw. Okay, there is the mouse button down. There are other events. Let me see which ones I'm interested in. Event, mouse wheel, mouse move, mouse button click. Yeah, okay, so let's say that if we want to draw, we have to click and keep the button down and then drag. Okay, so that's how we draw. So we are going to be interested in the event mouse button down. That's when the button is down. And then we are going to be interested in the mouse button, in the mouse move. Okay. Let me see. Well, let's use the yeah, mouse button down. Okay. So what can we do? We can print event was a mouse button down. Oops, sorry. Okay, so just to see if we are being able to detect the event mouse button down. So now I'm moving around, and when I click down, it didn't detect anything. So something is wrong here. I don't think it detected this event mouse button down. Ah, it's the right button. It's the other button, but that's not.
As said left, the example.
It should be left. Left. Yeah, left button down. Thanks. This M is the middle button down. So that's the middle button of the mouse. Yeah, L, better. Thanks. So now if I press the left, it's desculpa. Yeah, sure. Sure. Okay, now yes. So now if I click, I get the event that I want. So now let's say that if I want to draw, I'm going to click once and I'm going to draw. If I click again, I stop drawing. So for now, let's use global variables, which are not recommended. I know. I will then teach you how you can do not to use them. But for now, let's just define a global variable, which is called isDrawing. And I'm not going to be drawing when I start my program. Then inside my mouse callback, I am going to use this isDrawing. So I should declare it to say that I'm going to use it, okay? So whenever I click my left button, I'm going to say, if I am drawing, then I'm going to stop drawing. If I'm not drawing, I'm going to start drawing. So I'm going to say like this. If is drawing, stop drawing. And I'm just going to do is drawing equals false. Else, 2yy paste, start drawing, and that's going to be true, right? Makes sense. So let's just try to see if this works. So again, well, I'm going to take the print for the coordinates. Again, so I'm going to click once, it starts drawing, then click again, stops drawing. And so this is like a toggle. Click once, it's drawing, click again, it's not drawing, okay? So that's one. Now, whenever the event is the mouse move, now we have to detect when the event is just moving the mouse around, and that event is going to be the, I'm going to search here, perhaps it's better. Elif event equals cd2 dot event mouse move. Okay, so if the mouse is moving, well, if the mouse is moving and I'm not drawing, I don't care, so I have nothing to do. So now I have to see if I'm drawing. Okay, and if I'm drawing, I'm going to start drawing. How do I do this? Well, I can do it in several ways. One can be that I'm going to have a list which is going to store all the coordinates that I want to draw. So I'm going to have a list, which is also going to be a global variable for now. Points equals an empty list. Well, let's have two lists, one for the x coordinates and another for the y coordinates of the points. Okay. Now, whenever I'm going to draw, so if I'm drawing, what I have to do is I have to append to my coordinates the new coordinate of x, which is given to the function, and the same for the y, for the other vector. So now, just so you can see, I'm going to print this XS just so you can see it. Okay, so for now I have nothing, but once I click and I start drawing and I move my mouse around, the vector of points is going to start increasing and increasing and increasing. This may not be the best way because this is memory greedy, but in any case, let's use this strategy for now. So now that I have this, what can I do? Well, I can actually start drawing because I know that I only have to draw in this, inside these ifs. So I can do something like this. Okay, so now let me pick up my image, which is going to be, for example, let's create here an image, which is the GUI image, equals deep copy. So I'm just going to copy the image that I read so that I have always the original image as well. This GUI image must also be a global variable, otherwise I cannot access it. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the GUI image. I think I can do it like this. Yeah. Now, Once this occurs, I can just do something like this. For excess. Well, now there is a problem because what I want, okay, so let's just draw the points first. For X, let's not LX, for PT, or wait, não queria usar ali o X e o Y porque já o tenho. For XI, YI, I'm going to put together two lists. Zip puts together two lists, XS, YS. So zip is going to pack the two lists in one. I'm going to do a CV2 dot line, which is the way to draw a line, on image GY, comma. Now I have to put the point, you see here the point. So my point is going to be my X coordinate, followed by my Y coordinate. That's the first point of the line. Then I have to put the second point of the line. So now I'm just drawing one point. So it's going to be a line without length, just in the same point. So this is going to be the same point for now. And finally, I have to put the color. So let's put this in blue, whatever. And the thickness of the line, it's going to be 2. Okay. So I'm just going, this is just iterating all the stored coordinates and drawing a point for each. Okay, let's see if it works. So I'm going to start drawing. Click. Image GY is not defined. GY image, yeah, GY image. Again, click. Now start moving. What's the problem now? X1 is not defined because it's not X1, it's XI. Third attempt. Well, start drawing, nothing happens. Okay, so why does nothing happen? Because I'm not showing the image again. So now I have to show the image again. Since I draw on it, I have to show it. I can try to show it here. So since I changed the image, I'm going to try to show it here, but I don't think it's going to work well. Let's try. So after drawing, I'm going to say, I need to show it again. But this is not going to work because there will be an interference between this EM show and this CV weight key that we have there. So the solution for this is that main is always showing the image periodically, and we just change the image. Okay, so we alter the image by drawing lines, and main is always changing the image. How can we do it? Yeah, right. While true. For like this. And now we are going to draw every 50 milliseconds, let's say, well, 20 milliseconds. White. Yeah, sorry. I think that's it. So here we don't have to show it. We just have to change the image. And here we don't show the image. We show the GY image, right? That's the one that we are changing. Okay, so again, click once, and I'm starting to draw, and now I move my mouse around, and you can see that I'm stopping the drawing, and I'm going to put this bigger. I can't. In order to make this bigger, I have to do. I think it's here. Was that what you were saying?
Yeah, I thought you said make the light larger.
No, it was just this, the image to be bigger. So click once and start drawing. Okay, makes sense? So we have a paint already. So your assignment, your practical assignment is not so difficult already because we are already painting without a problem. Now, we can start to think on how to improve this. First, which is an obvious one, is that we are not drawing lines, we are drawing points. Now what we should do is to draw the lines between each 2 points, right? So how do you say, so let me try to formulate this in another way. When we are doing this here, we are drawing a line, yes, CV2 line, that's for drawing lines, but we are drawing the line between each point and the same point. That's why we don't see lines, we see points. We could instead draw the line between one point and the next, or this point and the previous, okay? But for that, how could we do it? Any ideas on how to do it? They are stored here in XS and YS, so we have the vectors of all the points here. So I'm not sure, you are not being very concrete, but I suppose that you are saying something like this. For index in range between 0 and the length of XS. So if I do this, I go, let's say we have 10 points. I go from 0 to 9, but I cannot go from 0 to 9 because if I'm going to pick up 0 and draw a line until 1, 1 and draw a line until 2, and so on and so forth. When I get to 9, I will draw a line between 9 and 10, and there is no 10. So I cannot go to the last one. I have to go to the second to last. Diga? Yes, the penultimate. Yeah. So I have to put this. Now I have my index. So I have my x1 equals XS of my index. Y1, Y2, Y. That's it, right? I don't think. No, I did +1 here. Makes sense? I'm x1, y1. I'm getting the coordinates of this point. X2, y2, the coordinates of the next point. I did. Sorry, again?
For the first one, of the index here.
The first point, the index is 0.
Yes, the index +1, and there will be.
For the first point, when you, yeah. So if you don't do this,
Then initialize on the when we click.
yeah, we could. Well, let's do it like this. If len smaller, len of XS smaller than bigger than 2, then we can draw, right? So that's makes at least 2 points. So again, click once, and we are still not drawing the points because we are not using these coordinates that we did. So now we have to go here and do the lines. So now I'm going to do a line between x1 and y1, x2 and y2. Let's change the color so that this is easier to understand. So let's say this is green color. And with a smaller thickness, let's say the points, yeah, well, something like this. Okay, click. So now you see the points in blue and the line in green, right? What next? It would be helpful if we could, for example, clear the drawing. So how can we clear the drawing? We have to use an event. You can use a keyboard event. So like the mouse events, you can also in OpenCV event OpenCV, you can detect events. Come on. Video capture. I don't think this is the one. How to detect it? Okay. I think. So keyboard, button callback. Set mouse callback. Create button. No. Where is it? It's the wait key, of course. In the CV wait key, we are waiting for a key. Sorry, the brain fog. So when we do this CV wait key, we are waiting for a key. If we don't press any key after 20 milliseconds, it will say, okay, no key was pressed, no problem. Key K is going to be none, or better, pressed key. So if I do this, press key equals plus str of pressed key, you will see that for now pressed key is -1, so that means I didn't press any key. So if I start pressing, let's say I press J, it says pressed key equals 106. Okay, 106 is the ASCII code for J. So we can actually use that to say if pressed key equals I think it's like this, CHR of J. So I'm going to get the character. I'm not sure if this is or I think it's or of J. Yeah. So I'm going to get the, or even better, get me the character of this pressed key and compare it to J. Perhaps it's better like this. If this comparison is okay, I'm saying print you pressed J. CHR. Perhaps it's the other one, it's the OR. I never know which one is which. Also no, expected string of length 1. And it. Yeah, I think it's because it's the number, yeah. So perhaps, okay, so again, easier, let me simplify. So pressed key equals 106, that's the ASCII code. And I just write here, that's J. So if I press J, it says you pressed J, I think. Did it? You, okay, you have good eyes. So you press J, and now if I press J, so let's say it's not J, it's C for clear. So let's see the code for clear. Okay, sorry. So I commented this, but now I need this to see the code for C. So C is 99, you see there? So if this is 99, you press C. And that's J, clearing the drawing. So how can I clear my drawing? I clear my, any ideas before I say how? How can I clear my, so everything that I draw, I want to throw away. We refresh. Or we clear the erase. Yeah, perhaps we clear the erase because we are drawing the erase all over again every time. So if our arrays start go back to empty, then we. So well, we are going to use the array. So XS YS XS equals an empty list, YS equals an empty list. So I'm going to put this in red, so this is easier to figure out. So I'm going to do here from, oops, sorry, from Colorama import for and style. Those are the ones that I use all the time. So this is going to be for.red plus, and here I'm going to reset the style. Okay. Okay, so now again, C, if I press C, you can see red there. So I should delete my drawing. So I'm going to start drawing first. So here is my drawing, blah, 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 very nice. And now I'm going to press C. I don't think it worked.
It doesn't revert your lines.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, because I'm doing what I said, and I'm also doing something else, which is I'm drawing all over again on the same pixel. So yes, I need to clear the image, right? Yeah. So that's the instruction, right? So I have to both clear the arrays as well as the images. Again, let me draw, beautiful drawing, as you can see. And now see, okay, it works. So you can see, this is a basic example of how you can draw. I wanted to show you something else, which was, let me think. Yeah, how to make this more elegant. So now you can see that we are using a bunch of additional variables in order to be able to communicate between the mouse callback and the main function. And we did this by using global variables. This is not very interesting. So in the practical assignment, I'm going to show you how you can do this using the partial functionality. Okay, but I will show you this in the practical assignment. And right now I'm just going to do a replacement of this. So this part here, where we are iterating, like Enrique said, between the first index and the second to last, the penultimate, we could do it better. Let me show you a Python console here. So if we have two lists, let's call it A equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and B equals A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, so we can put these lists together into a single list using the zip command. So my C will be the zip of A and B. So C is an object which I think I can turn into a list. Okay, so it's a list of tuples. The first tuple is 1 and A, the second is 2 and B, and so on and so forth. Makes sense, right? So if I iterate on this list C, I can do something like for first value, comma, second value in list C. Okay, so I can iterate and get two variables, one for each position of the tuple. So how can we use this in order to iterate the elements of A 2 by 2? So we can create A, so you know A. So now I can create A, which is all the elements except the last. I think that's like this, I never know. Okay, that's all except last. Let's call it A1. A firsts. Then I can create another list, which is a list which will have all the elements except the first one. So that means that I start from 1, not 0, until the end. But let's see if this works. A last. So A firsts is this, A lasts is that. Okay. So now I can do C equals zip. Well, list of zip. You know that I have to convert of A firsts, A last. So now C is the 1 with the 2 with the 3 with the 4, and the 4 with the 5. So that's exactly what we want in order to iterate these values. So using the zip, we can do a very elegant solution for iterating pairs of elements in sequence. So I'm going to replace this for loop by this one. Oops. So for isto aqui é do XS. Aqui é um bocado mais complicado por causa dos XS. Do YS. Yes, I could use the index, but okay, so let's use the indexes. So I have an array which is going to be indexes is going to be an array or a list, let's say, a list between 0 and the length of my array. Okay?
I thought you were going to use the theme.
Yes, I was going to use the elements, but in this case, we have two lists, not just one. We have X1 and the XS and YS. That makes it a little bit more complicated. I can do it, but let's first do this initial version. So with the indexes, so I just have values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 9 if I have 10 values. I can go like this. For index 1, comma, index 2, in zip of indexes all but the last, indexes all but the first. And this way I will get here my index 1 and here my index 2. Okay, I think this also works. Let's try. Click and drawing. Okay, so this works as well. Then we could try to do this zip. Also to, instead of going with the indices, we could extract directly the elements, but the problem is that this is already in two different lists, so we have to make zips of zips. Okay, so first we have to put together X and Y, and then we have to put together the initials of X, Y's and the second elements of X, Y's. It's a bit more complicated, so I will not do it. Like this is just for you to understand, to learn how to use zip. Okay. Okay, so we are 2 minutes away, so I think I will not teach anything else. Let's meet in the practical assignments, in the practical classes, okay? See you next week. Don't forget to prepare the assignment well. You will present it as you did in the first, in the practical assignment. I will put it now, okay? No problem. And you can study it. Okay, great. Part 6. Já lá está.